Friends, it's Shandy. Today I'm going to be showing you an activity called paint pouring. This is definitely an activity that is mostly geared towards older children, but you can also do it yourself and have your little ones watch. I know that my students absolutely adore watching this. It is the neatest science experiment for them. Again, this is a very messy project. So I'm going to start with not only my normal protective mat for my surface, I'm also going to add some paper towels to it. You're going to be working with paints. I recommend acrylic. That is what works best for us. But we've also done this with washables and it's turned out fine. You're going to get something, a container of any kind to let the paint drip off of. And then you're going to take a canvas. You can use paper, but again, it needs to be very strong paper. You can use cardstock, but you also still run the risk of it breaking. You can use cardboard. A cardboard box would work just fine with this, but the colors might not be as bright and vibrant. Okay, so my daughter has picked out all the colors that she wants. So we're gonna start with a little cup. This is specifically made for paint pouring, but you can use any cup, it works just fine. So we're gonna start by layering our paint. You're always gonna wanna start with a white. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna layer your white between every single color. Next, she has picked a beautiful turquoise. We're gonna pour that into the cup. You're gonna make sure your paint goes right into the center. Again, we're gonna layer that white. Next, she's picked a beautiful, vibrant green. Again with the white. You don't need to put too much, just enough to make sure that there's a small little layer there. One of my favorite colors, purple. And as you can see, this uses a whole lot of paint. And a lot of this is going to be fall off, which is why you protect that surface. Next, we have a pretty orange. All right, and our last color is going to be a pretty pink. Okay, so as you can see, we have a decent amount of paint. We have about 5 ounces worth of paint. That's what it looks like from there. And from an aerial view, that's what you have. So next we're gonna pull our canvas. Make sure it's centered. And you can do this in many different ways. You can take it, put it over, and then flip it upside down, and then pull up the cup. You can directly pour it onto there. There are many different ways to do this. My daughter wants us to try a particular type of pouring today where it just kind of pours in one area and then you work your way down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start pouring and we're gonna work in a circular motion. And as you can see, a lot of it is spilling off, but that's kind of what we want it to do. Okay, so now that we have that, what we're gonna do, and as you can see, it is definitely dripping all over the sides, but that's okay. So we're gonna take our white, and we're gonna pour it along the edges of this. And as you can see, we are running out of white, but that's okay because we have more. Thank you, Trinity. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a paintbrush and we're gonna kind of just make sure that we get that white everywhere it needs to be. Okay. And now from here, we're gonna start moving our paint. And again, this gets very messy. Your hands are gonna be covered. But we wanna take our paint and we wanna let it have a chance to just slide. And you do this by just rotating it. As you can see, it's coming out very pretty. If you have gloves, gloves are great. Absolutely beautiful color choices. And you can decide when you're done. Once you decide you like the design, that's all that's needed. And we have just a little more on the edge here we'd like to get. And this is going to take quite a long time to dry. Give it several days. I would say minimum of 2 since there's so much paint involved. But once you're done with how it was dipped, you're just going to set it back on that container. And there is your absolutely beautiful pour paint. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you try it, let me know. I'd love to see pictures. Have a great day.